Today's video, we're going to do some comparisons on the stock RA piston versus a normal stock STI piston and compare them to our stage 1, and we're going to also discuss the case difference between a stock case versus the RA case.
You're not going to keep it stock.
Alright, in today's video I'm joined by Joe from our engine department.
Hey.
Joe, if you can go ahead and get into the, differences between a RA piston and the normal stock STI piston.
Absolutely.
How they're going to compare differently to our stage 1 piston as well.
All right, guys. Well, when we take a look at these two pistons, the RA and the STI piston, physically they don't look too different. They actually do have the same dish volume. The ringland spacing is also the same in these pistons. However, when you flip it over, and you take a look at the underside and the structuring of the piston, the RA piston does actually have a beefier sidewall and more support for the wrist pin. Other than that though, it is still a cast piston that's been machined and is not a forged unit. Now, if we move on to...
Now, does the stock pistons usually have failure at the wrist pin point?
Normally they do not. More of the failures that we see are actually obviously the ringland failure that everybody's familiar with. So the piston structurally is stronger. Whether or not that actually has an impact on the ringlands is yet to be really seen.
Okay.
But it is still just a cast piston. So you are still susceptible to those structural failures due to inconsistencies in the casting.
So the material that's used for the casting is compared to a forged material. I know when I was speaking with Frankie, he was saying,
right.
I guess there's silicone, he was saying, added in that's going to help.
Right, that allows it to have some amount of flex to it and some give so that it does not take the direct shock and impact.
Which would then
cause it to crack. Right,
okay.
Exactly. There's more quality control in the materials that are used for this as well.
Okay.
As far as the purity of the aluminum that they're using, you're not going to see the same failures as you would with a cast piston. Right around when the RA came out, Subaru actually changed manufacturers, foundries, and they were previously using ASIN, and now they're using Hitachi to manufacture their goods. So there's a possibility that there were some material changes. However, it's pretty unlikely as they're just executing what Subaru asked them to do. So
gotcha.
More than likely they stuck with the same materials. Obviously that's situationally dependent, the way of the world. But
now with this still being a stock piston, I know some of the guys, when we released the video, what IAG short block is right for you, there were some people leaving comments, they don't really see the purpose in buying a stage 1 block from us when they can just buy a new RA short block cheaper than what we sell our stage 1 for. But I mean, overall, you're still getting a short block with stock components in it.
That's correct. Yeah, that is correct. We've done some analysis on the RA block. It's the same bearings, it's the same crankshaft rods. There's that slight structural change to the piston, but other than that, you're going to be dealing with those same issues that you were dealing with prior.
Okay.
So, obviously we eliminate those problems with our stage 1 block, which is a fantastic entry-level block, and it gives you peace of mind that you're not going to be a victim of ringland failure.
Okay.
We're using these forged units from JE that have the inherent design characteristics to strengthen all of the areas, as well as just having a superior material used. The silicone additive into the metal actually allows for some flex, and it reduces impact on critical zones of the piston and allows it to absorb the impact of combustion much better than a stock unit that's cast and doesn't have those characteristics.
Now, one other thing I have seen, as a common failure point in stock motors, besides either going to be a cracked ringland or a spun bearing.
Right. Yeah.
With us offering ACL bearings, even in our stage 1, I mean, that's going to be definitely superior.
Oh, absolutely.
Than OE Subaru bearings.
Let's be honest here. Subaru drivers are enthusiastic drivers.
Yes.
And, while OE bearings are great for the long term, as long as you're at stock power levels, doing your daily maintenance and not driving it hard, yeah, sure, they'll last for a while.
Okay.
But, I know that my customers like to drive, right? So, obviously, we feel that ACL provides a superior product that has proven itself time and time again in all of our race applications, anything from 300 horsepower You know, we're using those ACL bearings in, 1100 wheel horsepower cars. The consistency in the product is fantastic, and it's peace of mind for you guys.
Yeah, that's one thing I did see somebody when people were commenting on that video about the RA stuff. I saw one guy did chime in. He was like, yes, you can take an RA block and make 500-600 wheel horsepower with it, but
Right.
how confident are you going to feel every time you put your foot to the floor with it?
Exactly, and that peace of mind is more valuable than
Exactly.
than
And I mean,
saving a few
and
bucks there.
yeah, and I always say that. I mean, the difference that we've been seeing in prices for a RA short block guys direct from Subaru at $2,402. I mean, on average, you're talking maybe a savings around $900. And I mean, when you're upgrading or needing a new, basically, heart for your Subaru, I usually live by the philosophy of buy once, cry once.
Absolutely.
Instead of, hey, I just went out and I dished out, $2,000 for an RA block, put it in, a short amount of time, but
Yeah.
now I'm running into the same problem that I was just in.
Exactly, and you know what? You buy that short block from Subaru, you're not going to get a warranty with that either.
Very true.
You don't have that support that you have with IAG. So, there are a lot of important things to consider when, thinking about replacing your engine in your Subaru. Hopefully this will help make an educated decision and, something that's going to keep you on the road and happy for a long time to come.
Our warranties do change if they are having it installed by one of our certified engine installers from one
That
of
is
our dealers.
correct. Another great benefit to purchasing your engine from IAG is that we have a 1-year, 12,000-mile workmanship warranty with
Okay.
our short blocks, and if you have it installed by a CEI dealer, that warranty doubles to a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty. So, I mean, I think that's pretty exceptional.
Now, are the piston rings we're using in our Stage 1 more superior than what comes in an OE piston?
Superior, yes, absolutely. For the application that we are using it for, 100%. Now, MPR doesn't make a terrible ring set or anything.
Okay.
However, this is more tension for a low boost daily driver. Now, whereas the ring set that we're using from JE is a more performance oriented ring set that's tensioned for a higher boost level to provide your cylinder sealing.
Now, the rods for our Stage 1, we're utilizing the same exact rods as in an RA
That is
or
correct.
a stock STI.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We've always utilized the OE STI rods. They're perfect for the horsepower rating once again, but once again we are using a superior bearing. So we are using the same rods, but we're not using the OE bearings. We're using ACL units for that as well.
For the rods and the mains.
Yes, correct.
If at all, any changes in the cases?
So actually we're actually on 706 now between both the STI case and the RA case now. So one difference that we did notice, the liner is secured in a different manner in the RA block than in the STI block. Now, if you see the engagement of the teeth in the STI block, you have almost a saw-like teeth that are holding that cylinder liner in place. Whereas in the RA, you have hook-like fingers holding the cylinder liner in place. We haven't done any material testing to determine whether there's any differences in hardness, and we haven't had an RA case that we're ready to cut in half yet. Yeah, no. With the RA, you're still dealing with all the same failure points that you were dealing with the original STI engine. Now, when you're taking your step up to the Stage 1, you're not dealing with those, and you also have that peace of mind of the workmanship warranty as well as having the IAG customer support as well.
All right, Joe. Well, I appreciate the time coming on here and kind of giving us a rundown of what the differences are between the RA and the normal stock STI piston in our Stage 1.
Absolutely, man.
Catch you in the next video.